You wake up and stare at the ceiling. The room's still, yet your mind is bracing for impact. The day hasn't begun, but the mere anticipation of human contact already exhausts you profoundly right now. You open your phone. 12 unread messages wait in the glow. Your stomach tightens. It is not a crisis, just the suffocating realization that other people require pieces of your finite energy today. Leave a mark under this video if you recognize your own reflection here. Subscribing is not just a click, it is an active choice to stop letting the crowd drain your cup. Join us and take control now. Everyone labels this condition as burnout. They suggest deep breathing and better sleep. But that heavy pressure in your ribs, that isn't life depleting you, it is the endless performance for others. There is a massive distinction between losing your spark for existence and simply being worn down by an audience that takes without giving. Today, we name the 10 signs. Hold on, this gets very intense. Sign number 1. You feel entirely at peace when isolated. Not lonely, not adrift, genuinely fine. Solitude wraps around you like a protective shell, offering the only real oxygen you get all week long. Julian realized this on a rainy Friday. His roommates went out of town. He sat on the rug, listening to the rain, and noticed his jaw unclenching for the first time in what felt like many long months. He didn't text anyone. He just let the silence settle into his bones. When isolation feels like a rescue mission and socializing feels like running a marathon, your nervous system is sending a signal. Society loves to pathologize this deep need for quiet. They call it withdrawal. But occasionally, the most profound healing happens when you lock the door and refuse to be perceived by anyone at all. Sign number 2. You script your conversations before they occur. You stand by the window, anticipating their reactions, building verbal barricades before a single real word has even been spoken aloud. Maya does this every time she calls her sister. She preloads her tone, polite laughs, and her exit strategy. By the time the call connects, her emotional reserves are already entirely spent and empty. This intense mental rehearsal is not standard anxiety, it is an adapted survival tactic. You have endured enough chaotic interactions that your brain treats casual chats as high-stakes negotiations now. You are not simply overthinking, you are fortifying your walls. It is a logical reaction to a long history of people crossing your lines and taking more emotional real estate than they actually own. Sign number 3. You experience a profound physical lightness when plans fall through. Not a polite nod of acceptance, but a deep cellular exhale. A sudden warmth expanding behind your breastbone. Drop a comment. Be brutally honest. When was the last time a canceled dinner felt like winning the lottery? Name that exact moment. Claiming that deep relief is the first step toward true clarity.
Wyatt had a networking event. When the host postponed it, he sank into his couch and felt a massive tension dissolve from his neck. He felt like he had stolen a piece of his own life back tonight. That sensation of rescue is not a sign of being antisocial. It is a blaring siren from your subconscious, warning you that your social calendar is actively bankrupting your internal energy accounts. Stop feeling guilty for enjoying the empty space. When a cancellation brings you more joy than the actual event ever could, your mind is begging you to stop booking appointments you actively dread. Sign number 4. Shallow chatter feels like chewing on glass. It is not just tedious, it is viscerally painful. Asking about the weather requires an emotional toll you simply cannot afford to pay. You are not becoming a snob. You are operating on a severe deficit. Every meaningless exchange drains a drop from your well. When the well is practically dry, even a drop feels like a massive loss. Naomi smiles at her coworkers, nodding at stories she doesn't care about. By noon, the muscles in her face are throbbing. By Friday evening, forming a basic sentence feels like moving heavy stones. She was once highly magnetic, but years of pouring into people who offered nothing in return turned her social battery into a highly guarded vault. She is preserving whatever tiny spark is left inside. Sign number 5. You compulsively scan the emotional temperature of every room you enter. You analyze shifts in posture and micro-expressions before taking off your coat. You are constantly on guard. This exhausting radar is called hypervigilance. It is an unpaid, invisible job that fries your nervous system. You are not psychic. You are conditioned to predict incoming storms before they strike. Harrison grew up navigating a highly unpredictable household. He learned to gauge his father's mood by the sound of keys in the door. That childhood reflex now leaves him exhausted at dinner parties. Monitoring everyone's feelings is a fast track to emotional bankruptcy. You're spending vast amounts of cognitive currency on people who aren't even asking for your help. It is a quiet, heavy burden. Sign number 6. You harbor a quiet, persistent guilt for wanting less interaction. The people in your circle are fine, but their presence still drains you, leaving a bitter taste of ungratefulness. Pause for a second. Go to the comments and confess who you're hiding from right now. No judgment here, just unburden that specific guilt. Putting it into words strips away half of its heavy power. Sierra has a supportive friend group. They message daily. She loves them, yet their constant digital tapping at her door makes her want to throw her phone into a river just to hear her own thoughts. She swallows the guilt and replies, presenting a half-empty version of herself. Guilt does not mean you are doing something wrong. It simply proves you possess empathy, even when your cup is bone dry. Feeling terrible about needing space is a trap. You cannot sustain connections if the act of connecting feels like a heavy emotional tax. Taking a step back is the only way to save the relationship. Sign number 7. Your authentic self only appears in total isolation. Around others, you present a compressed, highly edited version of your personality. You shrink your edges to fit their comfort. Calvin is deeply philosophical and sharply witty. Yet, at social gatherings, he transforms into a polite, nodding ghost. He leaves feeling like a complete fraud, desperate for the quiet of his sofa. He compresses his identity to avoid friction. Playing a character requires immense energy. You should not need 3 days of absolute silence just to recover from simply being perceived by other people. If socializing feels like an exhausting theatrical performance where you are the lead actor, you are not truly connecting. You are managing their perceptions at the direct expense of your own identity. Sign number 8. The sensation of being needed now triggers a sharp internal recoil. You once found purpose in being reliable. Now, their requests feel like a cold hand reaching into your tired chest. Brooke was the designated crisis manager. After years of one-sided fixing, hearing, "I need your help," makes her stomach tie into a painful knot. Her internal generosity is completely hollowed out today. She does not hate her family. She resents the role she was forced to play. When your entire identity becomes entangled with your absolute availability, any boundary feels like a massive confrontation. When being needed feels like a suffocating trap rather than a noble calling, you are running on empty. You have been feeding your spark to keep their fires burning, and now you're left freezing cold. Sign number 9. You actively ignore calls from people you genuinely cherish. The screen lights up, and you just watch it ring in silence, paralyzed by sheer mental exhaustion and a deep lack of energy. Drop a comment. What is the longest you let a message sit unread because you lacked the energy to form words? Admit it here. Let go of the heavy shame attached to that glowing, demanding silent screen. Dominic stares at his phone as his friend calls. He loves him, but cannot muster the enthusiasm required to sustain a chat. The guilt sits heavy in his throat like a swallowed, jagged stone of regret. Screening these calls is not an act of malice. It is a desperate measure to protect the relationship from your own depleted, irritated state. You avoid them because you respect them enough not to snap. You're choosing silence over a fractured interaction. But this level of avoidance points to a critical systemic failure in your routine. You are starving for genuine rest, not just a temporary pause. Sign number 10. You constantly fantasize about vanishing, not in a tragic sense, but an anonymous one. A secluded cabin in the woods, a long drive where no one on earth knows your exact coordinates. Elise plans this escape every night. She visualizes the quiet air, the absence of demands, the total lack of voices. She falls asleep to the comforting thought of being entirely unreachable by anyone. This recurring daydream is a precise psychological blueprint. Your mind is explicitly showing you the exact sensory environment it requires to repair the friction burns caused by constant social demands. This is not mere escapism, it is a blaring distress signal. When disappearing feels like the ultimate luxury, you need to radically restructure your boundaries before your body forces a total shutdown. These 10 signs share one fundamental truth. They do not indicate a hatred of existence. They simply reveal a person heavily overexposed to human demands without adequate periods of solitary recovery. Life itself remains beautiful. The morning air feels sharp. A good song still resonates in your chest. The core issue is the relentless, suffocating noise of other people crowding your headspace daily. This exhaustion feels like dragging a soaked wool coat through the mud. You wear it everywhere, wondering why your legs feel so heavy, forgetting that you actually have the power to take it right off. The people draining you are rarely villains. They are simply operating from their own unmet needs, extracting energy from whoever holds still, and you have been holding perfectly still for too long. That endless accommodating stillness has a brutal price. It strips away the version of you that used to laugh freely and take up space. You traded your inner fire just to keep everyone else's room warm. It is time to shift gears. We stop apologizing your fatigue and start rebuilding your armor. You are fully allowed to be sick of people without being sick of life. Accept that distinction right now. You are not broken. Your social accounts are just drastically overdrawn. You do not need a new mindset. You need a massive deposit of solitude and strict protection against future emotional extractions.
Enter the mindset of the dark empath. It is not about becoming a cold machine. It is evolving your empathy into a guarded fortress. You retain your ability to feel, but you finally grow sharp fangs. You stop absorbing their emotional weather. When they panic, you observe the storm without getting wet. You build firm filters dictating exactly who gets your energy and who gets completely locked out. It starts with radical acts of refusal. You cancel plans simply because your internal reserves demand quiet. No elaborate excuses, no fake coughs. Your need for peace is a complete and valid sentence. Your presence is not a public utility available to anyone. It is a highly valuable gift. It must be offered from a place of abundance, never extracted through quiet, manipulative social guilt trips. You must learn to sit comfortably in the sharp friction of someone else's disappointment. Their frustration is their own puzzle to solve. You are no longer the designated shock absorber for their moods. Answer this in the comments.
Who will be the most upset when you finally start saying no? Write their initial down. Acknowledging that specific fear is exactly how you finally strip away their leverage. You begin auditing your circles. You note who leaves you feeling lighter and who leaves you feeling like a wrung-out sponge. You adjust your calendar with the precise logic of an energy conservationist. You pick the phone up only when you want to speak. You attend events that spark curiosity and walk away from rooms demanding a fake performance. You completely stop apologizing for your prolonged absence. Guilt fades. You haven't grown cold. Firm boundaries do not destroy real bonds. They simply expose the opportunistic parasites who only loved your constant, quiet, and physically exhausting yielding. Let them walk away. Do not chase. Their exit cleanses your world. You shed the toxic anchors keeping you submerged in a state of pure, relentless fatigue for all these incredibly long, exhausting years. The few who remain, who adapt to your rules without throwing a tantrum, are your true equals. They deserve the fully charged, vibrant version of you that emerges when the leeches are finally detached. You notice the world again, the texture of tree bark, the smell of cold pavement, the luxury of a quiet room. You are not tired of existing. Your senses were simply buried under all their chaotic noise. Your energy returns, slow but fierce. You laugh not as a social lubricant, but because something is funny. You realize your spark never died. It was just heavily guarded to ensure your absolute survival. Do not apologize for your newfound sting. The people who value your heart will respect the thorns you grew to protect it. Stay vigilant. Protect your quiet corners. Refuse to be their emotional sponge. You are no longer a frantic resource to be consumed. You are a grounded force, stepping out of the shadows, reclaiming your quiet power, and demanding the exact peace you are rightly owed in this life.